see if they can translate their road speed onto the track here today. This first race is the men's 5,000 metre sea race. Bit of a cagey start there. Where's the pacemaker? Where's Cliffy? There he is. He's got his pink shorts. He's got to the front.
Yeah,
nice
I think you're right, Hannah. You know, some of these road 5k PBs that we're seeing, I think a lot of these men want to correct their track PB as well, and catch up to their road time, if you like. And I think we've got 2 pacemakers as well, Hannah, which is always good to see, because when Cliff pulls out, we've got Mackinnon there who's going to take up the running in the red as well, just slotting into second.
That's the lineup. Couple of pacemakers in there.
So maybe Matt, is that what football shirt is that on Cliffy's got there? So like I said, we're in the shadow of Man City FC here. The stadium, the main football stadium, is just sort of over our left-hand shoulder if you were looking at the camera right now. It was the Commonwealth Games Stadium back in Manchester, 2002, that Commonwealth Games event. This was the warm-up track. But I think maybe Cliffy's just trying to have a laugh here with a different football shirt as he paces this men's 5,000.
Hannah, it looks like a Newcastle United shirt, so if my eyes aren't kidding me yet, it looks like a Newcastle shirt he's got on today. So clearly delighted with the season they've had, or the end of the season they had at least anyway. So but anyway, look, the race stretching out a little bit at the moment. We're going to see who can follow this. It looks like, I did think 70s 14:45 is quite ambitious for most of this field actually. So I wonder if Cliff's there he is now, just checking over his shoulder. I think he's just going to check back a little bit and see if they can group up a bit, because it's always a tricky one, Hannah. You would have seen it on the circuit as well. When they get set a pace, you want to hit that pace. I don't know if they get bonus as well for hitting that pace or going beyond. But when the field aren't following it, and you're in a BMC and you're there to really, at this level, you're there to really take these athletes around and allow them to maximise their performance. It seems a bit daft to almost just hit that pace if you're running 20 metres ahead of the athletes behind.
I think you're right, Matt. There's no point in stubbornly running 70-second laps if no one's come with you. Cliffy went through in 69 for the first lap, so he's a tiny bit fast. That was more like a 68, 69 there for the second lap, so that could be why we've seen a bit of a gap behind and that field spread out at the moment. Andrew Miles with his Vale Royal shirt on there, he is in 3rd place at the moment. He's got a personal best of 15:24, so he could be operating nearly a minute underneath his track PB. He has got a 14:51 from Battersea and a 68-minute half marathon. So the Vale Royal man there, you can see the bright yellow and blue crisscross on the front of his vest. He could be maybe playing into his half marathon strength here, going, I might as well go out hard. I know I've got that strength. I don't want to get out kicked by all the Leeds City lads, because we all know they can sprint, or they think they can sprint, because they're piling up behind. But at 5k, I will never pretend to know too much about 5k, because I hated it every time I did park run or podium 5k. But it's a long old race, and that group behind, they're working really well together. We've got a front group there of just 4 athletes with 2 pacemakers. They were under 3 minutes through the first kilometre, so it's early days, but at the moment on for that 14:35 pace. But if that group behind work well, they could catch back up to this lead group.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, because I think you're right. I think we will see at some point this group close up on that front group as it starts to get stretched out a little bit. But yeah, there you are. Cliff's dropped out after 1,200 metres, so good job. Mackinnon's there as well to take the pace, but they are running just a tad inside 70-second pace. So a lot of these guys PBs around about that 15-minute mark, which would actually be 72. So that second pack, if you're in this race, for me, is where you really want to be at this stage in the race. And look, we've got Tom Graham in there, the central athlete. Andrew Butchard's club, obviously they're doing a phenomenal job. We saw the Monument Mile up in Scotland hosted during the week as well, I think it was Wednesday night, which produced some electric mile times, some sub-4 milers up there. So he's made the, not too much of a short trip down to Manchester, but made his way down south. Yeah, things really starting to break up.
We have got so many Scottish athletes here today. They're so good at supporting these BMC events. And I think it's that quality you can see in the BMC with the good seeding, with the good pacemaking, that makes it worth getting on a flight. Matt and I were talking offline, there's a lot of athletes today have gone over to Belgium in Ordegem. They've had quite a long journey over there. We'll talk later about Ellie Baker and the torrid journey she had trying to get abroad this weekend, but she's thankfully been given a lane here to race tonight. But the Scottish athletes always so supportive here of the BMC event. So Tom Graham Marsh, he said, I was really excited. I think he was down to race in Birmingham, but maybe didn't start. And I was really excited to see him in the 5K there because he did 14:17 at Battersea. So that's way faster than his track pedigree. So he could be one of these athletes that could convert that fast road time into a respectable track time. And they're just coming through. Given another 200 metres will give us a 5K split. We're looking for around about 5:50. See Mackinnon there doing a great job checking his watch. But those two at the moment are slightly clear of the group behind. But look at Leeds AC, that's the 6-stage road relay team right there on the track hunting down the leaders.
They're absolutely packing up, aren't they? And they're doing a good job to do that as well because the race is really breaking up. And to be honest, this is the last thing you want in a 5,000 metre race. 2,000 metres in and it's kind of strung out, but they've done well to find each other. They must train with each other every Tuesday and Thursday, no doubt. So yeah, I wonder if they'll share a little bit of the pace up there as well. But yeah, like you said, the Scottish athletes, I know I'm always amazed when the Birmingham Grand Prix is on or the Birmingham Open meets, they make the trip all the way down to Birmingham as well to compete, and they really toe the line. And so always supporting the BMC, like you said, Hannah.
Some of the younger athletes we've got, I couldn't see results for them outside of Scotland, certainly this year or maybe even the year before. So it'd be great to see some of those under 17s, under 20s kind of test themselves against the rest of the British athletes. But how great is that to see that quartet of Leeds City there all working together? I bet they will have had a plan. Some of them are coached by Phil Townsend. I won't claim they all are. I'm not sure about that. But I wonder if they warmed up together and went, if we can just, maybe 72s. 70s might be too ambitious for us today, lads. Maybe if we can sit at 72s, we can all work together and push away to a fast time. That is 3:20 there in the lead is Jensen Connell, under 20 from Leeds. He's got a track personal best of 15:38, but a road time of 15, and that's what we're talking about. Can these guys take those times that they achieved on the roads? And hang on a minute, is that a Cardiff vest hiding in there? I thought it was all Leeds. They've got an imposter. There is a Cardiff vest hanging out in the middle of that Leeds group.
Absolutely, yeah. Larry Ryan, the under 23. He's a 14:50 man on the road, like you were saying, Welsh medalist over some shorter distances as well. So he's trying his luck over 5,000. Yeah, he's found himself, just disguising himself in that pack at the moment, in that pack of 4. So we've got a good little pack, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of close up on the leaders as well. And you were talking about the splits, Hannah, operating at around about 72 seconds. I think they're best to operate at that anyway. 5,000 metres, you want to close hard. We're seeing it so often now, even on the professional circuit. People are really chopping their time down over the last 2,000 metres of a 5K race, even over the 3K. You're making your PB is coming from really closing out the last couple of Ks in these longer distance races.
Do you think that's the best way to run a 5K, Matt? Like I say, 5Ks just bring me out in a cold sweat even thinking about them. But you think it looks funner to close like that? And we've talked about, the likes of Jess Judd at Highgate, Jess Judd and Ailish, what they did at the 10K. We're talking the 10K here. The 10K, if you can really smash that last couple of kilometres, you can gain a lot of time. I always think, I'm more of an 8:15 runner. If you get it wrong, you can bleed time. It just disappears. Now you think if you get it wrong, you can just cost yourself so much time. But it seems in the 5K, like you say, that picking up that last couple of kilometres, is it a physical thing or is it mental?
It's a bit of both, to be honest. You've got to have the strength, but if you're feeling good, at that 3K mark, it's rare you do feel good in a 5K, to be honest. Anyone I've spoke to who've done one on the track, it's kind of a 12.5 lap dash, if you like. But if you're feeling good at 3K, I think you get that confidence boost. And you can't underestimate also how much you can actually make up on the last lap. So we're talking about the last kilometre. But when you're operating like these guys are, around about 70, 72 seconds, even if they raised it to a 66 or a 65, which for many of them is not even their 1500 metre pace, you've made up 6 seconds on the last lap alone. And you see that, on a professional circuit. You mentioned Jess Judd. I think she closed her 10K out at Highgate in 65. And again, she was operating around about that 73, 74 second mark. So almost put 10 seconds quicker on that last lap on what she was running. So, and I think that's where you really gain the time as well. If you can just increase the last K, then hit the last lap. But don't get me wrong, in order to hit the last lap, you've got to be competitive and you've got to have people around you. And I think, you know, in a race like this today, if it is kind of almost done and dusted with a couple of laps to go, that's when it's going to be hard to really close. You want to have people around you going into that last, you know, 800 meters that you can kick with, if you like.
Absolutely, we can see, so Tom Graham-Marr is suddenly out there all on his own. Andrew Miles looked the most keen to follow that group, but he had a nervous look over about 400 metres ago over his shoulder, and he saw that Leeds AC and Cardiff AC train closing in on him, and it almost seemed to me as Andrew Miles just went, oh, they've got a little bit too hard here. They were a little bit slow through 3K. They were about 8:53 when maybe they were hoping for under that 8:50, and Tom Graham-Marr for me almost came to life when he saw that 3K split. Maybe he was running conservatively, like we're talking, saving a little bit so that you can build momentum and power through that final 2K. But Larry, Michael Salter, and the other Leeds lad, is that Joshua Woodcock, Shaw, or James O'Connell, I'm not sure, but those three are working really well together. And I'm a bit worried for Tom Graham-Marr. He looks determined, he looks poised, and like he's keeping his momentum going. But if those guys catch him, I don't know what will happen mentally or physically, but these lads could all be on for a great time.
Absolutely, I think they're going to come up to just 1,200 metres to go, so they're going to have to get rolling, and they have been sharing pace down in that little pack of three of them. If you look, yeah, Josh Woodstock short at the front, and a good cross-country runner, so he's no stranger to working hard in this middle section of the race, to be honest. So often they're, you know, up there in the National Cross and the Northern Champs as well, so he looks like he's going to get a bit of help as he just checks his shoulder. 3 laps to go then.
Waving through Michael Salter. Michael Salter spent most of his career running 1500s, 3:44 runner at his best. And has he been sandbagging here? Josh Woodcock-Shaw looked over and saw Salter and went, come on mate, your turn, I've taken all these laps. But Michael Salter, like the true 1500 metre runner, has gone, are you crazy? There's still 3 laps to go. But maybe someone yelled at him from the side, maybe Phil Townsend went, Michael Salter, pull your finger out. You've got more in your tank here. So Michael Salter swinging through into second place. He's got Josh Woodcock-Shaw of Leeds for company and Larry Ryan of Cardiff behind him. But can these three hunt down Tom Graham-Marr? Tom coming through here. This is the 4 kilometre mark, 11:53. We're thinking 11:40 was sort of that 14:35 pace. So they're still on for sub 15, I'd say. Would that be 12 minutes? Would have been 15-minute pace there, wouldn't it? So Tom Graham-Marr still well on for a sub 15 clocking. 14:26 is his track best. I don't think he's going to be on for that unless he has a monumental effort over these last 2 laps. But he's going to have to keep a lookout behind him because Michael Salter of Leeds City AC is launching a charge here as they come through with 2 laps to go.
Oh, it's what do you do here? Do you try and hold him off as long as you can, or do you kind of almost let him catch up and then rally once he catches you? And, you know, both ways, it's difficult for both of them in this situation. Michael Salter now, has he gone too early, but he's got to close that gap. And, yeah, if he gets on the back of Graham-Marr, you know, what does he do then? Does he go straight by or take a little breather, save it for a kick? But, you know, if I'm Graham-Marr, you just keep checking your shoulder and you just want to keep that gap at around about 30 metres like it is now. So Salter almost doesn't get a sniff. He doesn't sense blood. And Graham-Marr, as I say that, looks to just stretch it away on the back straight as well. So he's kept that 30-metre gap, which is what he needs to do.
Tom Graham-Marr taking the Matt Sudden coaching advice there, pushing on. I think you're right, Matt. You can't give someone a sniff. You can't show any weakness. Certainly not to Michael Salter with his 1500 metre pace. You've got to say Michael Salter though, as he comes round past this water jump, no steeplechasers here tonight, but Michael Salter will swing round and see 1 lap to go. And for me, if you're an 8:15 man, if you've spent your younger years running 8 and 15, right now you are saying, thank goodness I have 1 lap to go. Michael Salter will give it absolutely everything in this last lap. And to me, Tom Graham-Marr is starting to look a little bit laboured. You can see the flags blowing in the background. There is a headwind down this home straight. Tom Graham-Marr with 1 lap to go. Can Michael Salter close him down? A nervous look over the shoulder from Tom Graham-Marr.
He looks, to me, I don't want to jinx it, commentator's curse, but he looks like he's done enough, Hannah, to be honest. He's kept that gap at 30-40 metres. If anything, he's just extended it. And I think Michael Salter, although he is a 1500 metre man, even this is too much for him to close over that last lap. And, you know, kicking at the end of a 1500 is a lot different to kicking at the end of the 5,000 metres. And Graham-Marr, he knows this, the central athlete.
Tom Graham Marr from Central AC. He's come all the way down from Scotland. He sat in for 3 kilometres, bided his time, and when we lost our pacemakers, Tom Graham Marr swung round and he's pushed on so hard in this last 2 kilometres. Leeds AC athletes behind Michael Salter and his teammates have given a brave chase, but it will be Tom Graham Marr to take the first victory today here at Sports City Manchester. This is the second BMC fixture in their Grand Prix, and it's going to be a brilliant victory for Tom Graham Marr, battling that wind down the home straight. He's held on fantastically for a sub-15 clocking. Michael Salter powering through the line. I think that would be a personal best for him as well. Was that a punch over the line, or just a thank goodness I'm done? Larry Ryan coming through for 3rd place, and Josh Woodcock short 4th. Harsh finish there for 35. Mark Nixon, Mohamed Abshir there of Leeds City, but cracking run for those lads. Been quite a few under 15 minutes there, I think.
Yeah, I had sort of the first 5 or 6 just dipping that 15-minute mark, I've got to be honest, where a lot of them big personal bests in that race. The BMC responsible for so many personal bests throughout the course of the season, and I think we just had a load there as well. A lot of those guys hadn't dipped below 15 minutes on the track before. I think they have now, as they stream across. Like we say, that race got cut up, strung out pretty early on, so it's been quite the challenge for some of them out there.